Have you ever heard of a single decision changing everything? Not just for one person, but for thousands, and rewriting the rules of a multi-billion-dollar industry? Today, we're diving into a legal saga that's more dramatic than any courtroom movie. It's a story about power, money, and a judge's ruling that sent shockwaves through the corporate world. Imagine a lawsuit so massive, so complex, that it had been dragging on for years. On one side, a group of everyday people who felt they were wronged. On the other, a corporate giant with an army of high-priced lawyers. The stakes were incredibly high, with billions of dollars and the company's reputation on the line. The legal battle was a war of attrition, filled with endless paperwork, depositions, and strategic maneuvers designed to wear the other side down. For a long time, it seemed like the corporation's immense resources would inevitably win out. The plaintiffs were losing hope, and the public was losing interest. It looked like just another case where the little guy gets crushed. But then, something unexpected happened. The case landed on the desk of a judge known for their meticulous attention to detail and a fierce commitment to fairness. This wasn't just another file in a stack. This judge saw something everyone else had missed. While both sides were locked in a stalemate, arguing over procedural details, the judge decided to look at the very foundation of the case from a completely new angle. Instead of getting bogged down in the endless back and forth, the judge focused on a single, seemingly minor piece of evidence that had been submitted early on and largely ignored. This piece of evidence was an internal memo. It wasn't a smoking gun in the traditional sense, but it revealed a subtle yet crucial aspect of the company's mindset. The judge realized that the core of the dispute wasn't just about financial damages. It was about the company's fundamental responsibility to its customers. While the plaintiff's lawyers were trying to prove specific instances of harm, the judge saw a pattern of systemic disregard. This shift in perspective was monumental. It changed the central question of the lawsuit from, did the company cause this specific damage? To, did the company fail in its basic duty of care? With this new focus, the judge issued a preliminary ruling. It wasn't the final verdict, but it was a bombshell. The ruling stated that the case would proceed based on this broader interpretation of corporate responsibility. Suddenly, the mountain of evidence the corporation had built to defend against specific claims became almost irrelevant. The legal playing field was completely redrawn. The plaintiff's legal team, who had been struggling to connect individual dots, now had a clear path to argue a much larger, more powerful point. The company's lawyers were caught completely off guard. Their entire strategy was shattered. They had prepared for 1,000 small battles, but now they were facing a single, massive war on a front they hadn't anticipated. Panic began to set in within the corporation. The judge's ruling was made public, and the media storm was immediate. The company's stock price plummeted as investors reacted to the news. The narrative had shifted overnight. The corporation was no longer seen as a powerful entity defending itself, but as a negligent giant that had been caught. This single ruling had a domino effect. It breathed new life into the plaintiff's case, reinvigorating their morale and their financial backing. Other individuals who had previously been hesitant to join the lawsuit now came forward, strengthening the case even further. The corporation, facing immense public pressure and a suddenly unfavorable legal position, was forced to reconsider its strategy of fighting to the bitter end. The prospect of a trial which they had once welcomed now seemed like a catastrophic risk. The potential for a jury to award massive punitive damages was very, very real. This led to one of the most dramatic turnarounds in modern legal history. The corporation, which had arrogantly refused any settlement talks for years, suddenly came to the negotiating table. They were no longer in a position of power. They were desperate to stop the bleeding. The negotiations that followed were intense, but the balance of power had irrevocably shifted. The plaintiffs, guided by their re-energized legal team, were able to secure a settlement far beyond what anyone thought possible just months earlier. It was a landmark victory, not just for them, but for consumer rights everywhere. So, what can we learn from this incredible story? It shows that the legal system, for all its complexities and flaws, can sometimes deliver true justice. It highlights the immense power and responsibility held by a single judge. A judge's role isn't just to apply the law as it's written, but to interpret it with wisdom and insight, sometimes seeing a path to fairness that no one else can. This case became a precedent, influencing how similar cases are handled across the country. It forced other corporations to take a hard look at their own practices, knowing they could no longer hide behind complex legal strategies to avoid their fundamental responsibilities. It's a powerful reminder that even when things seem hopeless, a single moment of clarity, a single courageous decision can change the course of history. The system isn't perfect, but this story shows that with the right person, in the right place, at the right time, the scales of justice can indeed be balanced. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shape our world. Let me know in the comments what you think about this case. See you in the next video.